Hello and welcome to Scott's Amateur Woodshop. Today I'm coming to you from a conservation land near where I live to tell you why I think you should go for a walk outside, especially if you're a woodworker. And there's lots of good reasons to walk outside. It's good for us. It's good exercise. It's good for your mind. It's a good form of meditation, mindfulness even. But mainly, what I want to talk about today, since this is a woodworking channel, is that being outside, and especially looking at trees, is part of your education as a woodworker. So what I'm going to suggest is that you hop out of your chair after this video, of course. Wouldn't want you to cut it short, and go for a walk, or the next time that you can. Get out there. If you're not sure if there's something near you, look around a map. See if you can find a conservation land or something. You might be surprised. And I think it's particularly good to admire the trees. There's lots of them around here, which is nice. And there's all sorts of things you could be thinking about. So here are some thoughts about trees, just to get you started. They're living beings. They're the lungs of the earth. They're worthy of our respect. And then when they die, they give us one of the most useful materials you could possibly imagine. It's strong and flexible, and maybe above all else, pretty intuitive for humans to work with. Is there a better general purpose material? I don't know. So from the inside of the tree to the outside of the tree, you've got heartwood, which is dead and filled with chemicals to prevent it from decaying. Natural chemicals, of course. Try to use the word chemicals correctly if I can. Then you've got the sapwood, which I think is kind of dead, but sap still flows through it. It's still part of the life of the tree. Then you've got the cambium, which is a very thin layer, and it's alive, and it grows, and it produces wood on the inside and bark on the outside. And then you've got the bark, and I'm not a biologist. I think there's a couple of parts to that, but that grows outward from the cambium, just like the wood grows inward. And it can be a mirror to the grain of a tree. Sometimes when you see bark that twists around the tree, you know what? Here's one right there that twists ever so slightly. That might mean the grain is twisted, and that means that when that grain expands and contracts, there's going to be a twisting component to that motion too. Some more thoughts about trees to get you started thinking about them. You'll notice if you walk in a forest, the trees have less low branches than ones that grow in a field or a yard do. That's because there's more light coming down lower in a field. But in the forest, trees have to race to get high enough to get to the sunlight. And when you're actually walking in the woods, there'll be a lot of other thoughts about trees that aren't so general that'll come up. Thoughts like, look at the shape of that tree. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why that grew that way. A piece like that could be used to make an interesting shaped spoon. There's one with a fork in it and a root that's above the ground. Isn't that interesting? You'll learn as you go. And of course, my goal isn't to give you an exhaustive list of everything to know about trees. My point is instead that there's always something to learn, and you can learn a lot by observation and questioning. And walking is always a good time to think. So that's my little video essay for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to use the buttons down below. Check out the description. Always a good idea. I hope your day is as fantastic as I know mine is going to be. How can it not be when you started out like this, right? And with that, I shall bid you adieu. Bye now.